But I want to give you an example of what's going on. Those of you who had an opportunity to watch Mike Lee on Levin TV, or those of you who've had an opportunity to hear Mike Lee or know about Mike Lee, you know this is a very earnest man. His father, Rex Lee, was the Solicitor of the United States at the Department of Justice under Ronald Reagan, the first one. Mike Lee is an outsider. Mike Lee challenged a sitting senator, Senator Robert Bennett, another long-in-the-tooth Republican Whig Party type, challenged him in the Utah caucus system and defeated him. For that reason, and that reason alone, Mike Lee has been hated by the Republican establishment ever since, including Orrin Hatch, but especially Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell used to be able to count on Bennett. Bennett was another lackey, another hack. I'm talking to you, McConnell, you jerk. You've thrown away our majority in the Senate. You haven't done a damn thing. But I want to read a story to you folks so you see what's really going on. We don't need to create pretend establishment types. We've got real live ones who are causing all kinds of problems. The Hill newspaper by Alexander Bolton. Tea Party favorite gets blowback over GOP leadership bid. Understand, every single leadership position in the Senate is term limited, according to their own rules that they adopted. But they want to break through the term limits because that's what crooked, incumbent, buffoonish, Republican Whig-type senators do. So I want to read you the story. Senate Republicans piled on conservative Senator Mike Lee during a private meeting Thursday, so it's all leaked out there, rebuking him after he pressed several Republican leaders earlier in the week to step down from leadership because of term limits. Colleagues scolded Senator Lee for lacking collegiality by trying to enforce a Republican conference rule that allows lawmakers to serve only 3 terms in the elected leadership, according to lawmakers who attended the heated discussion. So Lee is being scolded for telling these bastards to comply with their own rule. Lee has argued their time is up, while Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says they should be allowed to stay in leadership through the end of 2018. The leaders affected are Senate Republican Conference Chairman John Thune of South Dakota. This guy's a buffoon. Republican Party Committee Chairman John Barrasso, another buffoon. And Conference Vice Chairman Roy Blunt, number 3 stooge. There you got the 3 stooges right there. Mike Lee has told colleagues that he's running for Barrasso's job on the assumption he will have to vacate it at the end of the year. He says he will not challenge Barrasso directly, but he's not giving up on his effort to persuade Republican colleagues to apply a term limit to end his tenure in 2016. Some Republican senators accused Lee, a favorite of Tea Party groups and conservative activists, of fomenting internal frictions at a time when they should be unified and focused on the challenge of keeping their majority. No, why is it an internal friction? This clown Barrasso should step down, like the rules require. There's no need for friction. Senators also criticized Lee. Now, this is a private meeting, so these weasels, these ratfinks, they go right out to the liberal media and spew their guts to attack the most conservative member of the United States Senate. You know why they're really angry with him right now? I think because he had the audacity to endorse Ted Cruz for president. That's why. And this Mitch McConnell, if he's anything, and he's not much, he's a bully. He's a punk. Senators also criticized Lee's leadership of the Senate Republican Steering Committee, which hosts a weekly lunch and promotes conservative policies. One lawmaker said it became clear in the meeting that Lee would lose by a big margin if he squared off against Barrasso, noting the Wyoming senator is very popular with his colleagues. So what? He's term limited. Of course he's popular with his colleagues. He's a useless know-nothing. Walking out of the lunch, Senator Johnny Isakson, another clown, patted Barrasso on the shoulder and assured him, "You're in good shape." But if Lee can steer the discussion to the question of applying term limits evenly across the leadership, then he might be able to win Barrasso's job while avoiding a popularity contest. Behind closed doors, Mitch McConnell reminded Mike Lee that he and his close friend Ted Cruz, who's running for president, received waivers a few years ago to serve on the Judiciary Committee and should now show some collegiality to their colleagues in leadership. Now that's interesting. So he received a waiver. They both received waivers to serve on some committee. Does that not then underscore the point that this Republican leadership needs waivers too? So you get the drift, ladies and gentlemen. Now, while I was outspoken against Mitch McConnell, many of these conservatives out there were too gutless to say anything. In fact, I can't think of anyone but me who endorsed Matt Bevin. Maybe there are others. Maybe they ought to speak up. Oh, Matt Bevin, he's corrupt. Oh, Matt Bevin, he can't win. Oh, Matt Bevin. Now the governor of Kentucky. And I supported him for that post, too. He asked to come on the program, and we helped. So Mitch McConnell is so power hungry. He's such a buffoon. He has sold out this country. He has sold out the Republican Party. He's at war with conservatives. He wants to protect the incumbents. He's in bed with the U.S. Chamber of Crony Capitalism. He's a fool. He's just as despotic as Barack Obama. Hasn't done a damn thing to defend the United States Constitution, has he? And while I, and we, many of you, were supporting his opponent in the Republican primary, I have to tell you, Donald Trump was helping fund his reelection. Well, it's true. And it's frustrating as hell. Because I think Trump would get along just fine with McConnell when it comes to making deals. Two deal makers. But I want you to see how McConnell operates behind closed doors and in the shadows. They thought leaking this story to the Hill would be a problem for Mike Lee. Would put egg on Mike Lee's face. It doesn't do anything of the sort. It exposes them. McConnell and his little Politburo of hacks and lackeys. These people need to be replaced, Thune and Barrasso and Blunt. They're lightweights, absolute lightweights. So here you have a young man, enormously intelligent, a constitutionalist, Mike Lee, who seeks to move up in leadership. Many of these people in leadership are term limited, and McConnell says, no, we're not going to follow the rules. And not only that, like he thinks he's some godfather, I'm warning you to back off. This place is about collegiality, you know. It's not about truth. It's not about substance. It's not about the American people. It's about collegiality among fools and cronies. Mike Lee is up for re-election in Utah, ladies and gentlemen. We should give him our absolute, complete support. And we should keep an eye on Thune and Barrasso and Blunt, all of whom are disgraceful. And I think this clown Isaacson is retiring. If he hasn't, he should.